saludando con afecto esta iglesia particular de Malabo.
That was Pope Leo speaking Spanish during a Mass earlier this week. The Holy Father lived for many years in Peru, and his ability to speak many languages, including Spanish, is inspiring others. This is especially true for seminarians from the U.S. and Canada. The Hispanic Seminary of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico trains seminarians to learn the Spanish language, as well as the cultural roots and richness of Hispanics in North America. The program began in 2000 and features more than 200 graduates from 55 U.S. dioceses. I recently spoke with a seminarian and a priest who are part of the program. Joining me now is Father Juan Vertiz, Seminary's rector of Seminario Hispano de Santa Maria de Guadalupe, and Seminarian Ramses Yates. Thank you so much for being here. So, Rector, as dioceses become increasingly more diverse, how is the seminary evolving its curriculum beyond just language acquisition to ensure future priests understand the cultural heart and spiritual traditions of the Hispanic families they will serve?
Yes, of course, we have a program that focuses on cultural assessment of the seminarians, so they can go back to the States, the United States and Canada, and serve different cultures there, but especially our migrant brothers and sisters that live there. Of course, they learn not only the language, but also how the church lives its faith here in Mexico, so they can take it back, that experience, and try to understand better our people there.
Ramses, can you share with us more about your background, having come from Washington State originally? Did you speak Spanish before traveling to Mexico and taking part in this?
Well, short answer, no. I grew up in Yakima, and while many of the people, other parishioners and friends often spoke Spanish in the school, I actually never had the opportunity to take Spanish until I entered the seminary. And at my other seminary on Mount Angel in Oregon, I took 2 years of Spanish, but came down here still not being able to speak much of anything. And more or less all of my acquisition has been down here.
And how has that been going?
Slowly, it's been 2 years, but now I can generally hold a conversation with someone that without a translator or without help from friends. There's still certain phrases and words that I have to ask for help and ask for one of my other brothers who are more fluent to kind of tug me along and tell me, well, this word means this, at least here and in this context.
As rector, how do you balance the academic requirements of philosophy and theology with the practical boots-on-the-ground missionary experiences that seem very important in today's pastoral reality?
It is. We here at Seminary Hispano have a program in communion with the Archdiocese of Mexico, which is our archdiocese, and every seminarians go either on Saturdays or Sundays to do pastoral work, either in a parish. Some of them, as Ramses, go to the Basilica of Guadalupe, and some of them go to some places to serve the elderly or the sick. So they are always, every week, putting the boots on the ground and serving others and learning to serve our people here.
Ramses, what has been the biggest cultural shock or spiritual insight that changed your perspective on how to minister to the Hispanic community eventually back in the U.S. or Canada?
I think the biggest thing for me is just how many people are Catholic. In the United States, we oftentimes have to deal with more than 80% of the people not being Catholic, and so how to have a conversation with them. Whereas in Mexico, you kind of just have that cultural understanding, that cultural base of Catholicism that you can kind of start with and talk. And I think that's going to be one of the largest parts is taking back to the U.S. is that you have to somehow mix that in and figure out that a lot of people, a lot of the children, for instance, don't have that. Whereas other families, they'll be able to jump right in and you can start catechizing them because that's where their family is based in.
Rector Pope Leo XIV is unique in history as an American by birth, but a Peruvian by mission and citizenship. How does having a pope who is a native English speaker yet carries a Spanish heart from his years in Peru change the way seminarians view bilingual ministry?
Well, it's a real blessing from our Lord, no? And I think it's a sign of the times, not to have a pope with that background, as you mentioned. And he shows us that the church has no frontiers, has no borders, and that there are people everywhere that need the gospel and need to hear from them in their own language and understanding their own culture. So it's a real blessing for us, for the church and, of course, for the seminary.
Thank you both for joining me to tell our audience more about this important initiative.